Hi, my name is Kevin Arthen. I'm going to take you through some guidance on how to do homeless verification for the Albuquerque Coordinated Entry System. This is something that HUD requires of us to do to a very specific standard, and I'm going to walk through an example and some points on how to and how not to do this documentation. So the documentation form is going to look like this. I've filled it out as an example, and I'm going to go through some points real quick on what to do. So the reason why this documentation is so important is that HUD is trying to establish that this person is truly living outdoors in a car or in a vehicle at night, and that they're not actually living with someone or in a motel room at night. So we're making this distinction, and this is how they do it. First of all, you're going to go on this form and you're going to fill out a separate row for each month that there was an interaction or interactions. So June goes here, a whole nother month goes here. Maybe there was multiple interactions. It doesn't matter how many interactions, you only put one row for that month. And again, you can put specific dates or you can put the entire month like I have here. Next, you're going to put in a brief description of interaction. This is not a long story, and we're not putting sensitive information in here, especially not any kind of information that would be revealing of, medical or HIPAA protected information. And so you're just talking about who you are, in this case, a security guard, and that you interacted with Sally during an overnight security shift. And it's more than acceptable to just keep repeating that same phrase throughout the entire document for each month that's incurred. Next, you're going to put their living conditions. This is very specific to where they were sleeping at night, and it's a description. It's not using the word homeless. It is going through and describing what it looked like. So in this case, they were living in the parking lot of the store in their car at nighttime, and you get the location, Central and 78th. Next time they saw them in July, they were camping in a tent overnight in the store parking lot. Same thing in August, but then they moved in January 2020. They were observed camping behind the store in an unheated storage room. Each time there was some description that gave them more supporting evidence that this was, a person truly experiencing homelessness. They had all their beddings packed in their vehicle, didn't have reliable access to food or showers, had a shopping cart full of belongings, and that was repeated throughout. So this is a good example of someone that is what we call community member. So that could be like a business person or somebody that just in the general community can't be friends or family, but it has to be somebody that is, just sort of had an interaction with the person and they actually observed it. So in this case, they saw it. Now, this can be filled out by a service provider, and a service provider, they can observe it, but if they just believe them to be in a camp, car, or someplace where they had no place to go in the middle of the night, or something like that. If they believe that to be true from the interactions, then they can also fill it out. So service provider, homeless service provider, police officer, attorney, therapist, anybody like that. So either of these people can fill out this form. So again, just a quick recap. Every month has its own separate row. You can use precise date or dates, or just state a single month. Do not put multiple months information in the same row. Just you can use a separate row for each month. Your interactions column is very precise, to the point statement about your interaction. It's just who you are and just a very quick phrase about what their interaction is. We're not putting sensitive HIPAA protected information there or information like about their mental health or addiction or anything like that. The living conditions column again is only giving the description on the streets, outdoors, in a shelter, and so on. We are not using the word homeless at all. We're giving the description in place of that, and we're not using lengthy descriptions or including any sensitive information. Again, further supporting evidence just gives descriptions about things like them using a shopping cart, them not having enough food or clothing, things like that, not access to showers, and so on. And finally, the form must have a signature. Don't just type in that space, and provide phone and email if possible, and state the name of your organization if that applies. So again, that looks like so. All right, thank you so much for filling this form out and filling it in according to HUD regulations. We wanted to just do it right the first time and not have to ask you to do it again because we would have to, unfortunately, if it wasn't done right, and we don't want to do that. We so appreciate you filling out this form. Thank you so much.